bulking, cutting, or maintaining. What should you do? What is up, Fit Fam? Today's topic is what should you do in order to achieve your perfect physique. This topic came to me after I watched a video from Greg Doucet, where he talked about the 3 approaches in detail, and I'm going to give that information to you guys so you can learn the same way I did. And it is a really simple way, and I think everyone can benefit from this. So, let's imagine you're John. And you, John, want to achieve a 10% body fat. Okay, so what should you do? You want to achieve a 10% body fat in 1 year from now. By the way, let's make that one clear. Okay, you have 3 options. First option, you can cut. And let's say you start cutting slowly, and in 6 months, half a year, you get your 10% body fat. And because you were cutting slowly and going to the gym regularly, you also put on 3 pounds of muscle, 2 pounds of muscle. Let's go with 2. You put on 2 pounds of muscle in those half a year while cutting. Awesome, you're looking ripped, you put on some muscle, you still have half a year to go. Now, what's the other 2 options? So you're currently at 20% body fat, okay? You can maintain first. Let's say you'll maintain. You maintain your caloric intake, you stay at 20% body fat, and because you weren't cutting and you had plenty of nourishment, you actually managed to put, instead of 2 pounds of muscle, you managed to put on 3 pounds of muscle in half a year. So, what were the results in half a year? You have the same body fat, but you put on 1 more pound of muscle than if you cut. So, that's also good. You still have more 1/2 of a year to work with. Third option, you're 20% body fat, and instead of cutting or maintaining, you decide to bulk up. Because you are eating in a caloric surplus, you get yourself to 30% body fat. You're starting to look a little bit chubby, you know? But because nourishment was abundant in your body, you actually managed to put on not 2, not 3 pounds of muscle, but 4 pounds of muscle. And you still have another half of a year to work with. So now we can go to phase 2 of the plan for each of those 3 strategies. So let's go back to the case where you were cutting for the first half of the year. You are already at the body percentage fat you want, 10%, and you have another half a year to maintain your caloric intake and build muscle. Because of that, in another half a year, you manage to get yourself 1 more pound of muscle. Meaning that in 1 year, you manage to get yourself to 10% body fat, just like you wanted, and put on 3 more pounds of muscle. That's awesome. Now, let's imagine you were doing the second option and maintaining. Well, after your half a year of maintaining, you now need to cut down to 10% body fat from your 20% body fat. You can do a slow cut. Because of that, you maintain a measly caloric deficit, and you slowly get yourself through half a year to 10% body fat, meaning that you lose no muscle at all. This option B also leaves you with 10% body fat and 3 pounds of muscle in 1 year. Basically the same as if you had cut, but through a different route. Now, let's think about option C, the bulk. Now you have yourself in a kind of a sticky situation. You are at 30% body fat, but you have 4 pounds of muscle you put on. Now, the thing is you need to slim down quite drastically. So you put yourself through a drastic cut. You need to really go on a big caloric deficit in order to lose that much fat in half a year. It's 20% of body fat if you think about it. And after half a year, of course, you get yourself to 10% through much pain. But there's one thing. Your caloric deficit was really big. Because your caloric deficit was really big, when you got yourself to 10% body fat from 30%, you actually also lost 1 pound of muscle. Meaning that if you bulk up and you cut down after, option C, you, after a year, end yourself with 10% body fat and 3 pounds of muscle. Now, if you have been paying any kind of attention to what I was babbling on about, you can see that if you choose to first cut and then maintain, to first maintain and then cut, or to bulk and then cut, you will end up the same way. So, what should you do? Well, honestly, you should do what you feel best doing, what is more comfortable for you. I myself have an opinion on what is the best approach, and I can share it with you guys. But that's just my personal opinion. And my personal opinion would be, it would be best for you to first cut down to the body fat percentage you want, and then maintain the caloric intake you are having and building muscle at the same time. Why is this? Well, as you can see, this is the option A, and I think it's best because, first of all, you take half a year to get yourself to the desired body fat percentage. Meaning that you get to have the best body you are able to achieve for the longest time. Because you are 10% body fat, even if you're not too big, you're not bulky, you still look good. Everyone that's ripped looks good. And then, while you are maintaining your caloric deficit at 10% body fat, you start to put on some muscle. Meaning that you start to look even better than you looked already. If you go for the other options, you just get to the 10% body fat basically at the end of the year. So you enjoy the physique at exactly the last day of the year, while you can enjoy the physique for half a year if you go for cutting the fat you need to lose first. And I personally think that this is also the healthier option, because maintaining lower levels of body fat is healthier for you. Am I saying that if you want to cut and you like to be big and have a lot of energy, you cannot? Hell no. I'm just someone on YouTube. You do you. I'm just giving you the options, and from all these options, they suit different people best. If you are fat and you are a beginner, the best option would undoubtedly be the first one, where you cut and then maintain, because you have a lot of fat to build muscle, and you do not need to be on a caloric surplus. For some reason, no matter what, you need to put on the most amount of muscle in half a year. The best option would, of course, be option C. These are all options, and the best for you is only up to you to decide. I gave you the options, I gave you my opinion, now you do your own self-judgment. So if you guys like this video, subscribe, leave a like, comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.